Good morning, boys and girls. We will be doing 16-3, which is organizing data. We've done a few lessons on time or clocks, and that's going to be it for the next few lessons. We won't do any more clocks at this time. So from now until the end of this unit or topic, we will be working with data and bar graphs and ways to organize data or information. So data is the same as information. And for this particular one, our information is up here, okay? And in this little table or chart. So up here it says favorite meal. Now, they didn't give us any information because in the classroom we would usually just see, whose favorite meal is breakfast, who has a favorite meal of lunch, who thinks dinner is their favorite meal. Okay, so right now, since we don't have that, I'm putting that data in there right now. So we have 6 children that like breakfast, we have 10 that like lunch, and we have 4 that like dinner. It's very, very important to make sure that you look at all the information and read it before you even go ahead and put it in your bar graph. All right. So up here on the graph, it says favorite meal. Right. Along the left-hand side, it says meal. Along the bottom, we have a scale, or we have numbers from 0 to 20. And it is labeled number of children. So this has to do with the number of children. And up here, if you add 6, 10, and 4, you get 20. So they went up to 20 for the number of children that were included in our data or our information. So along here, it says meal, but we don't have anything here. So we go up here and replace the labels for the meals. So now we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner included in our chart. Make that a little bit neater. Okay, so I hope you're following along and doing this as well with us. Now, once we have those labeled, we have to go back up to our chart there and get the information that we need. So, breakfast is 6. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention at the bottom of the scale of where 6 ends. And I'm going to slide my pen all the way up, and I'm going to draw a nice line just like that. So now I know where it ends. Then I'm going to go to lunch, and it says 10. So I am going to go all the way over here to 10. I'm going to follow this line all the way up, and then I'm going to draw a vertical line right there. Okay, is everybody following along so far? See how this is a little bit darker? You could use a colored pencil for this as well. Dinner, 4, or a crayon. So I find 4, and then I draw the line right here for dinner. Now what is involved next is just coloring it, so that it is shaded in. And now I went out of the lines here. Is that necessary? No, because by now you are almost 3rd graders. You should be able to color very neatly. I'm going to turn mine so that I can color it quicker. The next one. Now, if you wanted to, of course, you could just use your regular pencil. And you could use crayon. You may not use marker because it will seep through the paper because this is so thin, and then you won't be able to finish the other side of this page. So crayon or marker. Now you can take a look at our bar graph that we created based on our information or our data that we had given. And you can tell very easily that lunch is the favorite and dinner is the least favorite. You know, and I know that we've gone through this in class previously, but if I had several questions that I needed to answer in regards to this, one of the other things that I like to do, which I think I told you before that I like to do, is breakfast. Since that one's at 6, I put a little 6 there so that it's easy for me to see. I don't even have to follow down and look to see what it is. Lunch and dinner. So that at a glance and a quick look, I can identify how many in each one to answer questions quickly. And it just helps to make sure that you get your questions correct. You know, that you don't look at this and think it's 5 or 3. All right? You know from looking at it quickly with a glance that that's 4, that's 10, that's 6. All right. Let's go inside. Let me move my paper around. Okay. So up here, it says this table shows the number of cups of lemonade sold by each child. So this particular bar graph is going to be talking about lemonade, cups of lemonade that they're selling. Okay, how many of you have sold lemonade out in front of your house or somewhere else? Okay, so how many children sold cups of lemonade? Well, if we look at the information that they give us, there are 4 children, Leah, Tina, Kim, and Neil. All right, so Leah sold 20, Tina 10, Kim 50, and Neil 40. And then, this is the same thing, the bar goes horizontally, okay, not up and down, but there are graphs where the bars go up and down. They go vertically, okay, but these, the ones that we're showing you right now, are going horizontally. And so Leah, 20, Tino 10, Kim 50, and Neil 40. You can see the same thing. You can also see at a quick glance, I'm going to go back to this one that I did, at a very quick glance that Kim sold the highest number of cups of lemonade. Tino sold the least. Leah sold 10 more than Tino. Leah sold 10 more than Tino, right there. See, 10 more. That's how many more. Then Kim sold 10 more than Neil. Okay, if you look at Kim and Tino, Kim sold, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 40 more. Or you could go 50 minus 10 is 40. Use the table to make a bar graph. Then use the bar graph to solve the problems. Again, read the table. Favorite fruit, apples 5, oranges 3, bananas 4, grapes 7. Okay, so apples. They already have that filled out to 5. We're going to do oranges. So find the number 3, go up, do a little 9 here, and then shade it in neatly. Bananas, 4, follow it up, shade it in neatly. grapes, 7. Again, if you do not shade it in neatly, I'm not going to give you the points for it. Okay? If you did one of these, just pretend there isn't anything there and you just like, oh la la la. I'm not giving you the points for it. There's no reason that you're almost third graders that you guys cannot shade neatly. So you won't get the points if you do your homework page and it's not shaded neatly. I'm not going to say, oh, send it back. You need to shade better. No, I'm just going to mark that one wrong. Okay, so apples, 5, oranges, 3, 4, and 7. And I did that because, look, there's questions that we have to answer. How many children chose grapes? So I go to grapes. How many children? 7. Or I can look at the 7 down here. Which fruit was chosen least? Well, you can look at the bars. You don't even have to look at the number. Which one was chosen the least? Oranges. Okay. And did more children pick grapes or apples? So let's look at the grapes. We have 7. And apples, we have 5. So which did more children pick? Grapes or apples? You are right if you said grapes, because grapes has 7, apple only has 5. 5 children that they liked apples as their favorite. Did fewer children pick apples or bananas as their favorite fruit? So let's go to apples. I'm going to circle this one. Apples. Let's go to bananas. 4. So, did fewer children pick apples or bananas? The clue word is fewer. We're not asking for more. We're asking which one chose, or how many chose, how fewer children, or the least number of children picked apples or bananas. So let's take a look. 5 children liked apples, and 4 children enjoyed bananas. Okay? So bananas. Fewer children enjoyed bananas. So we'll write down bananas and explain how you know. All right? So we can say apples had 5 children and bananas only had 4 children that chose it as their favorite. And I'll leave that for a second so you can copy it. Now, if you need a little bit more time, just hit the pause button on your computer. Okay? So bananas, apples had 5 children, and bananas only had 4 children that chose it as their favorite. Okay. Use the table to measure a bar graph. Then use the bar graph. Again, this is going to be going horizontally. Okay, and there's our bar graph and data. Remember, data is the same thing as information. Data is the same thing as information. Okay, ways to get to school. Walk, 2 people walk. Car, 5 children take a car. Bus, 9 children take the bus. And bike, 3 children take the bike. Ways to get to school. So, I am going to take a look at the number down here. So 2, draw a line there. Car, 5, there. Bus, there. Bike, draw a line there. Now, shade the line a little bit, but I'm not going to mark you down for that. I just don't want you scribbling, and I want this line over here to be even. Your bar graph will be incorrect if this is scribbled over here, and then you can't tell whether it was 8 or 9 or 10. And it has to look like a bar. This is a bar graph. It cannot look like scribbles. Okay, so now you can clearly see on this one who won out, or which mode of transportation was used the most. So bus is over here at 9. Walking, 2. Car, 5. And 3. And I put those there again so it's easy when I fill out the questions. Okay? So it would be good for you to do the same thing. Remember that anytime you do extra work, leave it on there and show that you as a mathematician are doing the extras and taking the extra time to make sure that you're getting things correct. How many children use a bike to get to school? So I'm going to go to bike, read. Which way do the most children use? See, so they're not asking a number, they're saying which way, which mode of transportation do most children use? So you look up here, which bar is the longest? Bus. Which way do the fewest children use? So the fewest, these two are pretty close, but then we put numbers here. 2 is less than 3. Walk. If one child rode a skateboard to school, how would the graph change? Well, if someone rode a skateboard, okay, let's see, there would be another mode of transportation so there would also be another horizontal bar. And you could put skateboard would have the fewest or shortest bar. You don't have to put that down if you don't want. You could just put there would be another mode of transportation, so there would also be another horizontal bar. And another label, which that's another mode of transportation. I'll leave that up there for a brief moment. And again, pause it if you need to spend a little more time writing. Okay? All right. Let's go to the next one. It says solve the problems below. Shauna collected 9 shells, 4 marbles, 7 cards, and 8 stamps. Well, they don't have a nice little table for you, so you have to really pay attention to what's up here, okay? So marbles. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to look. There are 4. So I'm going to put a little line here. I'm going to put 4 after it, and I'll know where I shade up to. Cards, 7. Stamps, 8. Shells, 9. So then I'm going to take Color it in nicely. Hopefully you're coloring in at the same time. If you take a little longer, you just pause it. All right. So we're all set with that. Now let's go on to the next one. It says, look at the bar graph showing Shauna's collections. Shauna's collection. Which collection has the most items? Well, which bar is the longest? And it had 9, the most. Look at the graph for exercise 8. So we're looking at this graph again. How would the graph change if Shauna found 3 more marbles? 3 more marbles. Okay, so I'm going to use this light orange, and I'm going to show you what would happen if there were 3 more marbles. Okay, so then you could say the marbles bar would be longer. It would be the same length as the, would be the same length as the cards. There we go. So the marbles bar would be longer. It would be the same length as the cards. So then these would be a tie as to they collected the same amount of marbles as they had cards. And they would both be the least, cards and marbles. Where before, marbles was the least. They collected the fewest marbles. But if we added 3 more, then marbles and cards would be the lowest. Okay, it would be the same length as the cards. The marbles bar would be longer. It would be the same length as cards. Or you could say they collected the same amount of marbles and cards at that point. Okay? All right. On your homework page, your code word is skateboard. Code word, skateboard. Okay, code word, skateboard. Now I'm going to take a look, just really quickly. Okay, this is going to be your homework. Here's your information that you're going to be putting over here and shading neatly. Your bars are going to be right next to one another. On this, they had space in between. See that white in there? But when you do this, it won't be that way. You're going to fill up those squares all the way across. And you can put the numbers just as I had done over here. 7, 9, 8, so forth. All right, and you want to answer these questions. Like here it says how many, you're going to put a number. This one says which grade sold the fewest, so you're going to write the word grade 1 or grade 2 or grade 3. Which grade here? How many more tickets did grade 3 sell than? So how many? That's going to be a number. And I want you to show your work over here. You're going to have to do an operation. And which grade sold more than 13 tickets? Which grade sold more than 13 tickets? So you'll have to look and see and write the grade, the word, and then the digit. Okay? And on the back, here's your data or your information that you'll be placing in there and drawing your bars horizontally? And did more children choose reading books or coloring books? You could, and you have a long line, so you could say more children chose blah, blah, blah. Which activity is the favorite or of the greatest number of children? So you want to find the one that most children chose, what activity. And which activity is the favorite of the fewest number of children? So fewest. So make sure you circle fewest and greatest. And how many children were asked to vote for their favorite home activity? And you're going to say about how many. So for this one, how many children were asked to vote? Well, all of these children were asked to vote. Every one that you chart up here, that you graph up here. So you're going to have to do what to figure that how many children were involved in this activity. All right? Okay. Good luck. Do a great job. Color neatly.